Hey, welcome back to the channel, my fellow weather junkies. I'm your host, meteorologist Greg Majeski, your trusted weather source here, bringing you weather without all that social media hype here on your Tuesday, February 18th, 2025. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we're tracking here for today as we do have a snowstorm here developing across the middle of the country, and that'll be heading east. We'll give you the latest specifics on that system. We're also talking about extremely dangerous wind chills. We're talking below zero temperatures getting down into parts of the country that never see that kind of weather. We'll show you the latest on that for this week. And then we'll talk about whether we're going to see a little bit of March relief or not. I think we'll get a little bit of one, but then there's some model inconsistencies about how the long range is looking. We'll talk about that in greater detail as well. Now, before we get going, I'd like to welcome aboard all the new subscribers here on the channel. And if you haven't yet decided to subscribe us officially just yet, here's a personal invitation. Please do so right now. Hit that subscribe button there in the bottom right-hand corner. Give me a thumbs up if you could, and leave me a comment down below. It does help with the almighty YouTube algorithm. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the satellite imagery. We're quiet here up and down the eastern seaboard. Here's our developing storm system here in the middle of the country. We're talking some bitterly cold temperatures up here in the high plains. I'll show you that here in a second. And the areas of the west coast are looking at a storm system coming up there for Oregon and into Seattle as we go into this next day or so. So get ready for some wet weather up there. All right, here's the big picture. Boy, you think we got a winter storm here? Yeah, it looks like pretty likely there. Look at the pink. We got winter storm warnings in there, surrounded by the winter weather advisories, even getting down to Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia getting in on this as well, as this quick-moving system will dump some snow, although not as much as what we were anticipating, say, earlier in the week, in the weekend, but things are definitely still looking quite nippy here across the country. Check out these readings, man, minus 33, minus 36, minus 24, some bitterly cold air. We got a 1052 high-pressure system up there coming on down to 10 down here. And again, this cold air is going to be settling in across a big portion of the country and taking up shop here for the rest of the week, that's for sure. Let's go and take a look at some of the snow here across areas of the portions of Missouri. Not bad in here right now, but I do suspect heading down towards Springfield, Ozark, and kind of getting into northern Arkansas. There in the Ozarks, that's probably where the highest snow amounts are going to fall. Now, with this developing storm system, we do have a slight risk for severe weather, more like a marginal risk for today, and it's right along the Gulf Coast. We're going to talk about that here. Again, you're talking about areas down here from Louisiana over toward Texas. Again, some gusty winds, some heavy downpours, and that's the main threat there. And we'll continue with a thunderstorm threat even going into tomorrow. So we'll look at the day 2. But again, just a general thunderstorm threat, predominantly right there along Florida, over toward Alabama and parts of Louisiana. So right through there going in toward tomorrow morning. Now, as far as the heavy rainfall threat, only thing I got to worry about is for today. This is for areas around going into tonight. So we're talking about Louisiana, Texas, into this area right in here, with a few of those thunderstorms may get a few isolated flooding zones here and there. But again, the big news story has got to be the fact that we've got some very cold, bitterly cold air across a big portion of this country this week. And boy, is it just going to make its presence felt. So definitely want to be checking on people and pets and pipes and all that kind of stuff with this kind of weather moving on in. So we're going to go first start off by taking a look here at the jet stream. We're looking at the jet stream right here at 300 millibar level. We're watching this show up. And boy, when you see the polar vortex show up at this level, I mean, you're seeing it right there. You know you've got some very cold air that's diving down into the country. Now, the good news is this won't be sticking around long. For a few days, by the end of the week, it'll be moving on off. So by the time we head toward late today on Thursday, the core of it sitting up here across New England starting to move on out. So we'll see things begin to modify as we head into early next week. Now, once we get into early next week, there is another shot that's coming down here. Here it is right there. Right there. So we're talking about this dive right in here coming in as we head toward Monday. So looks like we get a brief warm-up into the weekend. Another little cool shot coming down. And then it looks like we get another shot. Here's another one. This is an upper-level low cutoff here across the southeast. So as we head toward the 27th to 28th, we'll see a little cool down, especially there into the southeast for those days. And then as we get close into March, you're thinking we're going to get a break, but no, there's another shot right there. Look at that, going into the 1st and 2nd. Another cold shot coming down, a little piece of polar vortex there across portions of the Great Lakes. And that's been happening all winter long. And then we take this all the way out to the end, and then we got another storm system to watch here across the south central plains. And again, another potential snowstorm with that one as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the high resolution model. We'll talk about this. Again, we're going to be watching the conditions here in the middle of the country, kind of going downhill. This will be moving pretty quickly. And we got another storm system coming out there in the Pacific Northwest as well as we head toward midnight going into Thursday. So watch this again, tracking here throughout the day here on your Tuesday. We'll see the snows there across Arkansas, Mississippi, coming into northern Mississippi with a little bit of that freezing rain. So as we go in toward the early morning hours on Tuesday, you see that mix there, snow in the north portion. Here comes the rains out here on the west coast. As we go forward, this moves on out. It really does disintegrate here on the high resolution model. It really falls off a lot. So again, not looking at nearly as much snow with this as what we were anticipating. Now they're out there in the Pacific Northwest. They'll get a lot of snow, obviously, there across the Sierra, up there in the Cascade Mountains and the northern portion of the Sierra Nevada there in California. But this moves on off, and then we'll see things begin to steadily improve there. Now, as far as the European is concerned, again, very fast-moving system, moves very quickly. A little snow there across northern Alabama, North Georgia, maybe a light dusting here. This moves on out to sea, and look at where the core of this low is sitting here on Thursday morning, right there, right across the Ohio River Valley. That's where that bitterly cold air will be setting up shop. And this will begin to move on off to the east. And then kind of quiet. Friday's looking good. It'll be kind of cold. Not looking bad heading into Saturday as well. Saturday looking good. Sunday, not looking bad as well. So looks like a lot of the country looking all right, except for the Pacific Northwest. We got another system coming in out there. All right, now as we go past Sunday, going into Monday or so, we got a weak system here coming across the Great Lakes. So we got a little clipper system here, kind of reinforcing a shot of cold air across New England. And then we got that cutoff low feature. Remember that feature I showed you there on the jet stream? It dives into the south. So we'll see some rains, maybe a few rumbles of thunder with this going in toward your Tuesday or Wednesday and Thursday of that week. So we're talking about the 26th and 27th. So here we go. 26th, kind of riding into the south there. A few thunderstorms possible with this. And then this moves on out. Now, again, we're beyond the 10 days, so we're kind of looking at extrapolation. But the tendency here, here's another cold shot here going in toward the first. So here, going into the first, you got another cold shot here. Look at the cold air zipping on down here across the Great Lakes once again, going into the first. And it'll be another hit and run. It moves in, moves on out. And then we got another cold shot coming down here again. Another winter storm here to watch across the south central portion of the United States. So the model consistency here beyond 7 days is being a little erratic right now. So I do expect maybe the Climate Prediction Center's long range to kind of fluctuate a little bit because of what we're seeing here on the model runs. So looking at the rainfall total here, we'll go out for the next 72 hours. And again, not that bad. They're really not looking bad here across the country. And going out to 240, again, we're seeing the heavier rains here across the areas of the Pacific Northwest and along the Gulf Coast, but kind of below normal here across a big portion of the country over the next 10 days. So I guess the big disappointment for snow lovers is the fact that this storm's not going to dump nearly as much as what we were kind of thinking we might see, earlier last week. Definitely not seeing that here. It looks like for the most part, snowfall totals here about 2 to 4 inches, maybe a little bit higher across the Ozarks of Arkansas and Louisiana, but really not reflecting that much. Maybe a light dusting here across Mississippi and over toward northern Georgia. But again, not really seeing that much in the way of snow totals. Now, as far as the 10-day total is concerned, really not seeing too much there as well. We do have a couple of systems here coming across the Great Lakes that'll enhance the snows there and some intermountain snows, but really not looking all that bad. The big story's got to be obviously the wind temperatures, the air temperatures, as well as the wind chills. Those are the two big things here. As you take a look here of the below zero temperatures setting up here across a big part of the country, even here across the Great Lakes. Watch what happens, though, when I factor in the apparent temperature. That's when you add the wind chill. Look how much of the country here is taken up with below zero temperatures here. Quite a bit of it. And some of it up here will be upwards of 40 below in the feel-like temperatures up there across the northern plains. Now, as we take this into Thursday, look how much more of the country, even to Thursday morning. Still quite a bit here, seeing that with the below zero temperatures there, with the temperatures here going into Thursday. So let's go in a little bit closer here. We'll take a look here, again, snapshot here of these temperatures. Look at these. We're talking minus 15 down here in Oklahoma, minus 40 up here in toward the high plains. I mean, just bitterly cold, really not that far off from the actual apparent, the actual temperatures as well. And then you take this all the way out into your Thursday morning. Again, we're talking about areas getting down toward Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, into North Texas, seeing below zero temperatures quite a bit. It does back off a little bit up here in the high plains, but still bitterly cold temperatures. And this will shift off toward the east as well. Look at the single digits down here across North Georgia with some of these wind chills. So very, very cold conditions indeed as this Arctic air mass settles in here for the rest of this week. So let's go ahead and track that Arctic air. Again, when you see this purple, we're talking 30 degrees below normal in some cases, even higher in that purple region. So as this thing begins to move on off very slowly, Wednesday, Thursday, here goes into Wednesday, still looking very, very bitterly cold there across there into the southeast going into Thursday. So very, very cold temperatures indeed. And it looks like this stays that way right through Friday. But then we go through the weekend, things begin to slowly finally get to warm up a little bit. Looking good. And so by the time we get to like next Tuesday, look how much of the country here is looking milder. That's going for the next 7 days. Now, the anticipation typically when you get an Arctic outbreak like this is you get a flip-flop of above normal temperatures that stick around for a while. But the European model is not doing that. In fact, it says, no, we're going to bring some more cold shots down. So we got this initial cool down here across the southeast. That goes into the 27th and 28th. You're seeing that right here. Obviously still above here, up ahead of another approaching dump of cold air. That's going to be coming in, heading toward the 1st. Here comes the 1st. Boom. We got another cold air coming into the 1st and 2nd here across the eastern third of the United States. Still a bit warmer out here toward the west. All right, and then we take this all the way out. The trend here for most of the country going in toward the 4th is to see a lot of the country still looking at a little bit below normal temperatures. So that's a little bit of a contradiction compared to what the Climate Prediction Center is putting out for days 8 through 14. So let's go ahead and take a look at that right now. So as you take a look at the current outlook for days 6 through 10, this is after the Arctic air masses begin to move on off. We're near normal, cold in the southeast, milder out here in the west. And this looks like this verifies because the precipitation totals are pretty low here for the most part from the 23rd through 27th, except for areas of the Pacific Northwest. Now, where I think we might see some change here is if the model consistency continues. If the European later this afternoon continues to show the colder temperatures, this map might change a little bit as we head from the 25th through the 3rd. Again, when we get beyond 7 days, it's kind of an extrapolation and we're looking for model consistency. So we'll see if this map changes later today when it's updated a little after 3 o'clock this afternoon. And this, I think, verifies pretty well. It looks like the pattern becomes a little more progressive as we go from, say, February 25th to the 3rd with a few more storm systems, obviously, except for areas of the southwestern portion of the United States. So again, we got some bitterly cold temperatures. We got that winter weather we got to track across the south here going into tonight and going into tomorrow. And then we've got to get rid of this cold air to get it on out here. Now, we'll say this pattern that we've had with consistent pieces of polar vortex dumping in the United States has me a little concerned about March, because March, as things begin to warm up down south, if we keep getting these cold dumps come down, I'm really concerned about, tornadoes and severe weather events throughout the month of March. So if this pattern continues, I'm definitely a little concerned about that. Now, for right now, we're just kind of hoping to get this cold air out of here, and then we are going to see a bit of a warm up as we go into early next week. The question is, does it stick around or not? So stay tuned for that. We'll keep you updated as we get finish out this current work week. All right, that's your update for now. Again, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do so at this time. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're alerted on future updates. And as always, please leave a comment down below. I do appreciate it. And if you haven't figured it out, I'm fighting a little bit of a cold and some drainage. I've really had to fight to get this update for you guys today. I do appreciate you guys' patience. All right, that's your update for now. You guys take it easy, be good, stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Y'all have a good day. Bye-bye.